Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. It is 8:30 a.m. on a rainy Monday morning here in beautiful Marietta, Georgia. We're writing some code, and we are to, I guess, oh no, we are to my favorite part of the development lifecycle that we've sort of stumbled into, and that is the part where we do end-to-end testing. I didn't make any functional changes to the code, so the end-to-end testing should work. This whole cycle was all completely dedicated to getting rid of a set of different uh, um, uh, implementations that were resulting a in HTML detached nodes or detached elements. So basically, before this effort, what would happen is if you went to memory and you clicked on this detached elements radio button and you took a snapshot, at this point you would already have a bunch of detached nodes. And so I made some changes to get rid of those issues. And if you want to understand that I have previous videos that sort of go over that. I still do have detached node issues, but I've gotten rid of a bunch of them, and so now what I need to do is make sure that my that I didn't lose any functionality along the way. And so I have end-to-end tests that were built in Cypress that um, sort of that I've built to sort of ensure. I mean, when I built them, I wasn't sure if I was thinking along these lines, but basically, in effect, what they do is they sort of lock in functionality so that as I make changes, I don't lose pre-existing functionality. So if I go to my packages, since this is the first time, I try to do this the first time. Anytime I go to packages, I always close others because that's just like these tabs will just stack up. And I have my Cypress tests, and looks like my Cypress test is Cypress open. I have two choices, or Cypress run. I believe Cypress run is what you would want to do if you were running these things in a in like an end. I'm not end in like a um, CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development, deployment uh, environment. I think, and Cypress Run would run and believe it'll run. It'll create like a report and even do screenshots of everything. But I am doing these manually, so npm run Cypress open. And in theory, all I have to do is just validate that they all still work, hopefully. I do know that when the first sort of round of this effort, I had um, went away from using the npm, I mean the Angular material menu because the menu was just automatically creating detached elements. And just to be clear, I'm pretty sure the Angular teams will handle this kind of thing on their own. Um, but a big reason I do this is so that I can learn, and I just wanted to learn. You don't get opportunities like this to learn about things, so it's just sort of the Angular has a little bit of a gap at the moment where they create a lot of detached elements and detached nodes, but they don't. And I'm pretty sure it's just a short-term gap. But once they fix that gap, you as a developer have lost that opportunity to learn how to deal with things like that because they've taken care of it for you. So it was just sort of a really good opportunity to learn about something new. All right, so I'm starting my end-to-end testing, and basically I have a bunch of suites, and so it lets me choose which browser. I'm just going with Chrome. Apparently version 140. So we'll close that up. I think I typically like to do it like this. Maybe not. Maybe actually. So I have uh, all of these tests that I've done, and so let's just check to see that they work, see if anything breaks. My assumption at this point is that they won't break, but obviously that would be my assumption because if I knew that it was going to break, I would know that I had created a button. Like its value is finding things that have, and it has plenty of times found things that were broken, and then um, and then uh, and then I was able to fix them before it got too difficult to fix. Um, I have learned that with unit testing, the value is so that one passed. The value is in giving you an opportunity to just really dive down into the code itself, line by line, and make sure that all the lines are up to your standards. Um, so this is a perfect example where something slightly changed. Um, so in the past, what would happen is when you clicked it, as soon as you clicked off, it would close that menu. Now that doesn't work that way. Now you have to close if you want to close this guy. You have to click on it again to close it. I feel like that's better if I'm being honest with you. Um, but like I want to close the menu, not it close the menu. So that passed. The keyboard is one of the ones that you will often break. Um, and once you've broken, sometimes there are some keyboard situations where um, you can set things up to where you can never get it to work on the keyboard again. Um, so, because the mouse just gives you so many, like an infinite number of different ways of doing things. Um, so the reflow. Now we're testing delete. Uh-oh. So something broke in the delete, so we'll have to dig into that and understand what's going on. It's interesting. I've never seen, yeah, so delete is not working. So let's just try it again. Sometimes it doesn't work. I'm pretty sure it's actually broken. Um, Now who knows? It could be broken just the way things work different now. Work now is just different, so it doesn't work because it's looking to see that a button is visible. And like I was saying, I think that um, um, things have slightly changed, so maybe that is no longer a thing, but it is looking to find the add button, and I think that is blocking it from finishing the whole thing. Um, so it looks like we have one test at this point to do a lot of try to figure out. So I was kind of hoping I would be doing my um, I was kind of hoping I would be doing a commit right now, but it looks like delete is an issue. See, it is 8:39, so we do have a little bit of time. And this is my first effort in Cypress. I have gotten Cypress. I am using Cypress at my job now, and it has really been a lifesaver. It has definitely, at least twice now, caught bugs that were no, like probably like 8 times it's caught bugs for me that I implemented before I went into PR. I ran my Cypress tests and said, "Oh yeah, that's right, I just broke that." Um, but it has also caught production error, at least 2 production errors that I was able to report before anybody else noticed them. So I would definitely say that it's a very, very high priority to do Cypress. Okay, so we are. One thing I don't like about Cypress is in this UI layout, it gives you the line number, but it gives you the line number assuming that there's no comments. But apparently there's a point where I'm looking for an add button, but the add button isn't there. Um, it clicks this, and now it wants there to be an add button. And I suspect what is that in the old system, I had to click again to get it back. So I'm guessing when I click again, this thing I think is what's breaking it. Um, so in the past, what was happening is as I would move through and I would click off, or I think the way the natural behavior of the angular material, let's go to this, is like if you were to click this, it closes on its own. But that is not the behavior of this. So then I think what's happening is it's coming in here, clicking this, and then looking for the add button. And I think that's what's happening here. So I think, well, get unchecked, and then we click that. Let's see. All right, so I'm pretty new with these things, so I'm not exactly 100% sure how I'm going to fix this. Normally, I would have a much better kind of grip, but let's just sort of force gump our way through this thing, just kind of figure out what we're trying to do. So here's our Cypress folder. You might or might not be this. I believe this is the default. I would never do this again, by the way. In the future, I will always have Cypress as its own standalone um, project. And the reason is because in this package, I have a package file, and in here I've defined the version of TypeScript, and this version of TypeScript can get out of sync for Angular. And this is the version of TypeScript for the entire project. And Cypress also has a version of TypeScript, and it can get out of sync with um, the Angular one. And what had happened before was that when I did an upgrade, Cypress upgraded my TypeScript out, and it was higher than to a higher level than what Angular wanted. So I don't really want this version of TypeScript to apply to both projects. Um, all right, so our problem is in delete. So when I don't know what I'm doing, which is this happens all the time, right? Like I've been coding for um, 40 years. Let's see, 2000, 1980, 45 years I've been coding and constantly find myself in a situation where I don't know what I'm doing. Um, so this is a nice short one. It's just a little guy. All right. So what I typically do, my methodology would be, I think I like to keep this over here so that I could see it. Um, my methodology is usually just kind of start coding things or start commenting things out. Um, so, so I'm just going to start all the way up there. This should be fine. Right? We should have a full passing. We can kind of see what's going on over here. I thought it would redraw it when it used to just automatically rerun. But, oh, I'm working on the wrong one. So yeah, it would automatically run if you were doing the right one, Marte. So that's the resize one. It says that I have some sort of change in here. I'm gonna undo whatever that change is. So Git does not see the change. All right, so delete. Delete is a lot bigger, and it looks like it's got two. I believe I could tell it to focus on a single one. Can't remember if it's FIT. I think it might be FIT. Um, I can't remember exactly what it is. But I'm just going to comment out this second test. Just see if it's just the first test or just the second test that's failing. Just sort of methodically go through and just see where I'm at. What? What's your problem? warning. All right, so looks like the first test has an issue with it. There might be an issue with the second one as well, or it may just never even have gotten to the second one. So I love you too. So I'm just going to copy everything out but the visit. See, I like to get myself in sort of a place where I understand what's going on. And like everything's just sort of working for me, and then the failure presents itself. So I go from success to failure, and then I can sort of, it's easier, a little easier for me to, I don't know, mentally cope. I don't know what the right word is. Just makes it easier to come to a conclusion. All right, so that's working. And we're saying that the check should exist, and I definitely see the check. And now, so this is going to get the add button, which I see is there, and it's checking to see if it's visible, and then it's clicking it 3 times. So I think it should click 3, it should add 3 visualizations. I believe that's what should happen. Maybe I should have like a comment there, what I expect as a human being. Now it clicks the body, which I think used to close the menu, but that's no longer going to work. So if we want to close the menu, okay, so this, let's go ahead and add a comment for ourselves, for our future self. I believe this opens the menu, open menu. And then this same command should close the menu. I like that. I like that because as a human being, I'm training myself to close the menu, which would work either way. Whether I'm clicking on the body or clicking on the thing. Okay, so that closed the menu. So now we're going to try to open the layout menu. I wonder what happens if you try to open the layout menu while the other menu. So it did not open layout. Oh yes, it did. Well. Oh, it doesn't open the layout menu. It moves to sets route to update. And that's funny. There is no menu there. So I had actually messed up my own brain at that point. I had even imagined a menu popping up there, even though there is no menu that pops up under here when you click this. All it does is toggle from one state to another state. Maybe it should, right? Like that brings up a good question. Maybe I should have a menu open and you specifically say which state you want to be in. Don't know. Probably. That's probably how it should work. So now this is a variable assignment. So assign variable should not be a problem. And now we're looking for delete button. And then we're getting the first delete button. So I believe it's this one. And then we're going to hit delete. We're going to click it. Yep. So we did that. And then we're going to open the layout menu. And there is no layout menu. So I think that's wrong. Open layout menu. There is no layout menu. See, I don't know what was going on. But we actually want to do is, that is just wild. And this is not updated to tabular. Sets route to custom. And that is just bizarre. Now, we're going to try to open the app menu. Is that what I call it up here? Or just say open menu? Fine. Open menu. Oh, that worked. And then check for the checked icon. And then we're going to click Add button for a new visualization. And then we're going to select all 3 visualizations. And then we're going to check their visualization, their positions. And voila, that test is now fixed. I don't think it was ever even trying the second test, so I don't know. It's probably broken as well, but maybe not. Who knows? That test is definitely a better test now, though, because I don't know why I was thinking there was a menu to be open. I must have been very tired that day. Okay, so something broke there. And so we'll just do the same thing. We're going to comment all of these out. Like I said, there is something that I can type in there that will tell it to focus on a specific test, but I can't remember what it is, and I'm not too worried about it at the moment. Okay, so basically, we're just going to see if those first 2 lines exist, and I see that I have double semicolons. Double trouble. So we'll get rid of that too while we're at it. We're going to make the campground a little nicer than we found it. Okay, so we're good. See anything red? This one checks for the checked icon, which I see is there, so it should be fine. Let's go ahead and fix this positioning issue. And it's checking for the reflow button, which definitely exists. And then I think what was happening before is that it was closing. So get a reference to the menu icon and click it. So I don't see, I think this used to open it for us again. But now it's closing it. And I don't think that's not what we want. See, what used to happen, I think, is when you click that reflow, it would automatically close itself. So I don't think we want this. Okay. Now, and that was a really bad comment. Anyways. See, that's where I'm guessing it was breaking before. I'm not quite ready to delete that code yet. I could be wrong right now. So this is going to add 3 new visualizations. Okay, so now I think I feel confident to delete this. Now we're going to close the menu, but actually that's the line of close. That's the line of code that we want to replace this with. So Control X. This will close the menu. So we were clicking on the body to close the menu, but that no longer works. So this closes the menu. And this opens the layout menu. And there is no layout menu. I don't know. Changes route to tabular. That was probably a copy from the other one to tabular. And so apparently I do a delete here. Or no, all I do is an assignment there, so that should be good. This deletes the second one. Man, this is looking a lot like the previous test. I don't know what it's doing different, but Now this does not open the layout menu, it changes to custom. Change route to custom. Right now this is feeling like the identical test that we just did before. Now this opens that, the menu up there. Yep. And this checks it. And then this adds a button for one new visualization. And what's interesting here is now this one ended up here, and that's because reflow is off. And then we're expecting 3 of them. And then we are doing that. We're checking that it is leaving the gap in the middle. And that's what that was. So this was more of a reflow test than a delete test, but I guess we did it here. So that's that, and it looks like we have it fixed. Looks like everything's done. It looks like it's 8:57, so I got to go. Got work in 3 minutes, everybody. Happy coding. Have a wonderful Monday. Bye.